Hi, I'm Kelly Brown, and I'm not just a Happy Hormone Cottage client, I'm also a member of the team here. A few years ago, Lynn Hography had a position open here at the cottage and asked me if I'd be interested in becoming a consultant, and I was so thrilled with what she was doing with women and the results that I'd had through my treatment. I was happy to come on board. And then a couple years ago, when Lynn wanted to start a nonprofit to help women with cancer prevention and treatment, she asked me to run that organization. So now I'm the executive director of the Lynn Hography Women's Health Initiative Foundation, and I'm thrilled to be a part of that too. So, but my journey with Happy Hormone Cottage started a few years before that. Actually, my journey probably started when I was a teenager, when I was experiencing really heavy, irregular, painful cycles. And I would ask my doctors why my periods were so different than all the girls I was going to school with, and nobody had any answers for me. So I just had to deal with it. When I got in my 20s, I was put on birth control pills because I was continuing to have these issues, and that seemed to solve the problem. My cycles became regular, the pain and flow really subsided. So I thought that that issue had been resolved. But as I got older, I started learning about the long-term effects and risks of being on synthetic hormones for extended period of time, and I wanted to do something different, but really there was no alternative for me. So I just again dealt with it and did what my doctors told me to do. As I got into my 30s, I got married at age 34 and immediately went off of birth control because my husband and I wanted to make a baby. So we tried for months and months and months and months to get pregnant, and nothing was happening. So I sought out a physician who dealt with women who were advanced age and trying to conceive a baby and having challenges. So he did a lot of tests on me. He checked my uterus, my fallopian tubes, my ovaries, and everything seemed to check out normal. We couldn't understand what the problem was. But through all of that, not one time that I can recall did he ever check my hormones. And when I look back on that now, I feel like he did a huge disservice for me, and I feel like there's lots of women in my situation, even today, who experience that same disservice of not having their hormones checked as part of their desire to have a baby. Around the same time, I also started experiencing extreme fatigue, lack of energy, low libido. I was struggling with losing weight, with maintaining my weight, and couldn't understand why all these things were occurring. So I went to my MD, who checked my blood, who checked for anemia, who checked for thyroid issues, and everything seemed to be normal. So he concluded that I had depression, and he put me on Prozac. I didn't feel like I had depression, but when he told me I had depression, that was depressing. So I stayed on the Prozac for 6 months, maybe a year, and I felt no relief from that, and I ended up switching doctors and weaning myself off the Prozac, but still no answers. Along that time, I had started doing research on BHRT. I had read several of Suzanne Summers' books. I read every article I could get my hands on, but there was really no one in town who was doing that type of treatment. So I just was patient and carried on. When Happy Hormone Cottage came to town, I came in and I got tested, and I was really relieved when I got my results. Now, I was diagnosed with adrenal fatigue, hypothyroidism in the form of Hashimoto's disease, low progesterone, low testosterone, and I was estrogen dominant. Basically, I was a hot mess. Most people would be disappointed to find out they're a hot mess, but for me, it was encouraging because I finally had some answers. The infertility made sense. The low energy made sense. The low libido made sense. The tiredness, the fatigue, it all made sense finally. So I went on to hormone therapy. I went on to supplements to deal with my adrenal fatigue and with my hypothyroidism. And 3, maybe 6 months later, I had my life back. It truly was a life-changing experience for me. I was never able to conceive a baby. By the time we had all the answers to my issues, my husband and I felt like we were really too old at that point. So as disappointing as that is for me, I know that my story can help other women with these issues. If you are dealing with any of the symptoms that I experienced, I urge you to come in and be tested. No woman should have to struggle through life without answers. Happy Hormone Cottage changed my life. I know it can change your life too. Thank you for listening, and God bless.